All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, consideration of any changes to the agenda. You have anything, Jeff? Diana? Okay, we're all set. Okay, approval of the July 11th minutes.
Make a motion that we approve the July minutes, 11 minutes, as written.
I'll second it. The ayes? Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to reports. Highway transfer station update. Clinton?
Jeff and I spoke about doing Belmont Road from Gates Road to Key Road, reclaiming it, adding material through our own budget. And it figured out to 100 and
Yeah, depending on the pricing, like 100 and I think what we have in our retreatment budget plus some carryover is 130, 140. So I tried to work within that budget for the footage. So it ends up being like 2,750 feet. But we can, I think once we got the pricing, we can add or reduce the scope so it fits our budget.
Okay.
And then we're just figured to piggyback on the emergency repair work for the paving. Whoever comes can do that. So I was going to just get unit price for that work. And the state, when they did their assessment during the storm, said about 200 tons. So that's the number I used on there. But if we go over, we go over. If we're under, we're under.
Okay.
I got winter sand bids or pricing from Pike and Casellas. Pipe was $8.30 a ton, $16.90 delivered, and Casellas was $16.70 delivered. Pipe sand.
Yeah, per ton.
So yeah, per ton. But I think I don't know. I think with what we got budgeted, and I think we could almost do better by local trucking.
Mhm.
So, basically, it's gonna be pipe sand because it's about the only sand you can get. So
And they were
$8.30 a ton. And I priced 4,500 ton, but I don't know if I can squeeze that up there or not. But that's usually the number that we use.
Yeah, the pile's somewhat. We got good amount of the pile.
Yeah, we still got a bit of pile. I talked with Hubbard's. He's gonna try to get here in the next couple of weeks to take care of the steel and stuff up there. And he was still inquiring about them other 2 containers that are just sitting down there.
This
So
one,
give us $1,000 a piece for them. So.
you talking about the cargo containers?
No, they were the zero sort containers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they've been sitting there, and I mean, I don't see where we'll ever use them. And then we've got a bunch of culverts that we're waiting to get
Hydraulic studies.
hydraulic studies on. One's on Turnpike. The one that we replaced on Beaver Meadow, that has to get study done on that one. Sawyer Hill. And
Is it Belmont Road?
oh yeah, the culvert coming out of the Starlight.
Luscious Acres.
Yeah, and Luscious Acres, I don't know what they,
He was talking about an overflow. Yeah, I don't know if necessarily need hydraulic study or double back with Josh on it. Could be.
are you talking about the one that goes right at the beginning?
Yeah, something. Put something there.
One
So
above the bridge, right?
yeah, where the road washed out, something there, so that if it does bypass the bridge again, there's at least a culvert there of some size. Not like a box
take
culvert.
that 2-footer out. And
Yeah,
put
but
it-
like a 4-footer in or something like that. It's something he mentioned, so I just kept it on there, whether we do it or not. Just at least put it as a placeholder. So you got Belmont Road, Beaver Meadow, Sawyer. Did you say Sawyer?
Yeah,
The upper one or the lower one?
the
Yeah.
lower one,
The one right at.
right
at the
at the
beginning.
beginning,
And
and then
then
Turnpike.
the one that's got cones on it right now.
Yeah,
So have you've reached out to?
yeah, Josh came and looked at it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I called him and asked him about it. And he was gonna
Shun
do
back
it.
on the shun.
Yeah,
And then the hydraulic studies are like
through the
just
state.
to the state. Have you put requests in for all of those, or?
I haven't yet.
But we.
I think we got the one for Sawyer,
I think so too.
but the one on Turnpike, he wasn't sure if we're gonna need it because it's not
a
even,
big one.
it's not even listed on the culvert. VT culverts.
So if that was something he'll just tell us, put in
Yeah,
something that matches the stream width.
yeah,
So really, you just gotta put a request in for Beaver Meadow and Belmont Road. 2 V-trends.
very, yeah. For the lake.
So we kind of skipped down a little bit. I don't know if we keep talking, or we
No.
double back.
Well,
Sorry.
we'll get down there.
Should we do for the paving grant, just to go back, since we kind of, go back to the paving grant, or not the paving grant, but the paving. Are we okay with putting that RFP out, in a due date of the end of the month,
Yes.
just similar to what we did last year? And then might wanna do like a special meeting just to
Mm-hmm.
pick it, so we're not waiting.
Yep.
Cause the second Tuesday puts us almost in the middle of September.
Right. Yeah, we can do that. We just have a special meeting to go through them.
And then the other thing, do we just need a motion for the sand? To do the
Yes, we need
winter
a
sand?
motion, we need a motion for the purchase of the sand. So I'll make the motion that, we purchase Pike sand, at $8.30 a ton, for a total of 4,500 ton. Is there a second?
Second.
The ayes.
Aye.
Aye. Now that's utilizing local trucking.
Yeah,
Okay. Any other for highway or transfer station?
Just the grant and aids, we just have to sign for next year's.
Yes, for year 23.
And then 24, and then 23, we just we were gonna, I think the intent was doing it ourselves internally, but given the circumstances,
Yeah, that's what, 31K?
yeah, so I was thinking, kind of brainstorming with Clinton, just writing up a scope, an RFP similar to the paving, and then just try to get some pricing in the next 2 weeks, and maybe get that same
We're better
special
off.
meeting.
Yeah.
Or, yeah,
Yeah, that way we can cover it all in one.
yeah.
Yep.
So I'll work with you,
alright,
find those segments and make sure they still work.
Yeah.
Okay, and we covered the grants and needs for the 21K.
We just gotta sign it
Yeah.
at the end of the meeting.
Then we'll move down to the treasurer's monthly income and expense report.
Okay, July 31st. The balance sheet, the biggest thing you'll notice is that property taxes were billed. So there's a $5.7 million and some change receivable now showing. And about $250,000 in our general fund as of the end of the month. Thankfully, we've been busy with people the last 2 weeks plus coming in with tax payments, so that amount in the bank has gone up quite a bit. But it's that time of year, so there's lots of activity on taxes, and you'll see a big change from this end of this month to next month. We do not yet have the school budget in here, so you will not see that on the profit and loss statement. There's nothing in for what we'll be paying to the school, but that will be added as soon as we get the official information sometime this month. And I think the biggest, we've gotten two payments from the state to date for before the end of July for one for current use, one for our first quarter of state aid. They have issued the second quarter state aid early to help towns with the road damage. You'll again see that next month. And then general expenses, nothing really out of norm there until if you keep flipping on the very last page, you'll see there's a separate section for flood and storm damage repair. To date, we've paid out about $85,500, and I included another page in the report this month we have a number of bills that have come in that we have not paid yet. We're about $220,000 committed for just 100% storm-related costs, and I don't know if we want to. I'll wait to dig into this further when we get to that section, but that's our biggest activity: storm damage repair.
So, any questions for the treasurer? Okay, listers report.
So happy to report that we only had 4 grievances, and one was reduced. The other 2 really had just questions which we could answer, and the timeline for the appeals has gone by, so we will have no appeals to the Board of Civil Authority. And later on the agenda you have the reappraisal notice. We'll talk about that then.
Any question for the listers? Okay, Mount Holly Planning Commission update.
Yep, we're moving forward with the town planning. Seem to be on track for an October hearing for the planning commission. You guys probably a month or so after that. We have a meeting for the Belmont Village Plan, which I'll put up a sign for today. That's next Wednesday at the Community Center in Belmont at 5. And that will be probably the last public meeting for that municipal planning grant for the municipal, fiscal year 22. And I think we hope to have that wrapped up probably by mid-September. I think we're required to have a report by the end of September. Yeah.
There can be a little bit of closeout after that, which is the state side.
Yeah, we got a little bit of extra time, 4 months extra time, because of all the difficulties with acquiring contractors and COVID and everything else. So, and that will be probably good that we wrap that up in September, because there's another planning grant opening up.
And that's sort of up to you, definitely up to you whether you're interested in pursuing it. I think Jeff and I talked about the possibility of doing some sort of housing study. I know there was interest, I think, among the select board members and some other people in town for pursuing some short-term rental stuff. And as a couple of us learned last month, or actually June, I believe, VLCT strongly recommends that you have a housing study before you pursue anything with short-term rental regulations. And you can back that up. So if you come up with some regulations, you want to be able to back it up in court. So that's one opportunity. What we, if that's something you want to pursue, typically what happens is there's a resolution that gets circulated to both the planning commission and the select board. Typically, the planning commission signs it a month ahead, and then the select board considers it the following month. So it's up to you if that's something that you're interested in pursuing. We can put that on our agenda for next week.
Which is another agenda item down further, so there's some time to contemplate, but it
Oh,
is an opportunity to.
Okay.
It is an opportunity to do something not forefront by the town. We might do it that way.
Or if there's other thoughts on
Yeah,
ideas, then we'll get on our agenda for next week.
Limited people apply for it, so we have a good chance.
That's it. Any questions for John with the planning commission? Okay, moving down, we were told there was no update for the Conservation Commission, so we'll jump over that to new business. And as you can see on the agenda, there's a lot of info there. So the July 9th storm recovery, infrastructure repair. Any updates?
Everything's pretty much getting close to getting resurfaced. They spent last week ditching, putting the road back on Sawyer Hill, so I just gotta get down there and put a little more 3-inch and some more sure pack, and that'll be good for back to where it should. We need to rebuild that wall at the bottom. Sometime here, hopefully this week or next. Other than that, the stack rock wall on Beaver Meadow got completed. Freeman Brook got completed. There's still some more work to do at Luscious Acres. But Healdale, I know they're talking about starting that, hopefully within the next couple of days.
Yeah, the water hasn't been.
No.
No.
No, as far as the repairs are looking good.
No, good.
Do you have any concern with like cleaning up edges and ditches keeping up, or do we want to? I know we've got an opportunity to with FEMA. I think we're still don't have a lot of direction yet, right, Liz, in terms of reimbursement, but just making sure when we fix it, we fix it.
Yeah, it's to an as good as or better standard
Yeah.
from what they're currently guidance.
So if we go back, touch up, or just one thought I had is just going back, touching up to get it to standard, whether that is adding riprap to steeper swales or
Right.
widening the swales to the proper standard.
Now's the time.
Yeah, and I don't know if we try to put another RFP out just so you can keep focusing on surfacing, and we've only got 2 months left before plows goes on the truck. So if we jump on it, like our window is this meeting to decide if we're gonna sub anything out. And I guess the question is do we feel comfortable making sure that we're gonna get reimbursed, which I don't know if I have that level of comfort. I mean, everything they say is put it to the current standard.
If we can tie it to a site that was damaged for more than $3,800, then it qualifies as a site that will be reimbursed. I think we're gonna receive 92.5% since we had just passed the river corridor ordinance that bumped us up to the highest level. So between federal at 75 and on the state, we'll chip in everything, and that remaining 25% except for 7.5%.
So one thought I had is I look around at other towns because I follow bidding for my own work, is just have ask for an RFP on like a per lineal foot basis of swale, whether it's stone or grass and a few other items. Try to get pricing maybe by the 30th of August. So we have 3 different RFPs to look at. That would follow our procurement procedures that FEMA makes us follow, and then maybe help us kind of get some work done before snow flies.
Yeah.
And then we don't necessarily have to, like, we'll have a list of locations, but you'll just have a unit foot price that you can then point and say, go do this. If you don't want them, if it's something you took care of, that's fine.
Right.
Then they don't need to go there. But it's kind of a flexible method of having somebody get some stuff done. Because I know if we don't get those humps out on the edges of the road in these areas that you've already resurfaced, the next storm is going to be right back to where we're at. So
It'll take the road with it.
yeah. So rather than an hourly based contract, we just get unit based by the foot.
And that was highly recommended.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. It's not a bad thing.
So the third RP, and I won't work on anything else next month with those 3 things. But I think it's critical. I think if we come through with that stuff, then we're in good shape.
Yes, John.
You mentioned bringing things up to standard. Does that include driveway culverts? Could we cover?
Still a question I haven't gotten a straight answer on, but I did try to get an answer at one of our meetings with FEMA. So I can follow up again. I think so. I believe
It
so.
was related to it, right?
If we're on that 4 FEMA public assistance update, we did now apply officially requested public assistance help from FEMA, so it's now waiting for them to assign us a state coordinator and a FEMA representative who then will be able to really answer the more detailed questions of our individual
It sounded like another this week or next week.
Yeah, we'll have 2 weeks was the timeline.
And they were going around almost house to house in
They
the
were.
river corridor.
Yeah.
People.
They were calling it their disaster.
Yeah.
That was a different, they've got like
Yeah.
zillion
Acronyms.
different groups and
Yep.
acronyms, but
So they asked if we were done with, if we had any more disaster assistance. I, as an EMD, said we're good, and they're moving on to their next phase, which is, I think, hopefully public assistance.
Yeah.
It seems like on hydro-connected roads, I mean, it's in the town right away, the driveway. And if it's hydrologically connected, it seems like that would be
Yeah,
something that we should be looking at. But
yeah.
it's a question of whether it's state or federal money. Is that
I think it's just if it's putting it to standard, which I think we would be if it was a 12-inch cover. Bump
some
it
of
up
them are
to
missing, right?
yeah. So I think it's just confirmation before we go out and do anything.
Right.
It's not which agency. I think it's all at this point
it's
FEMA.
Yeah, it's FEMA and the state is the matching, and we make up a small part of that match. That 7.5 is us. The state is the difference, and then FEMA 75%. But it's whether it was damaged in the storm and qualifies as a site. That's really
Right. Yeah. You can't go
Right.
touch something if it's not a $3,800. If it doesn't.
We can't
Contributed to the damage that was larger than 3,800.
Yeah, but that's we have
It's not mitigating then
no.
yeah.
It's got to be a direct tie-in.
Because there are people in this town that have damaged. They have stream banks in their backyard that haven't endangered their house yet. FEMA will not give them any money until it damages their house.
Right, no, I mean,
So it's the same- it's the same
actually,
premise.
in the case where there actually was $3,800
Then we
and there was a driveway culvert or lack of one that caused it, would be covered out.
I think if it was in the limit of damage.
And
And
how do you
that
prove
gray
that?
is it's a gray area, so I think as
Yeah.
long as you
Yeah.
you just gotta do a good job of documenting your case. I don't think they question your case as long as you document it well.
Would
It's
that be
10.
part of your RFP?
No, I mean I would put culverts in the RFP. Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, for within the damaged areas.
Well, I would just have a unit price and
Right.
somebody on our end would have to
It's just something
determine
that,
it.
as an individual property owner, it's just so expensive, most people can't afford to put those standard leakage.
Yeah, and the road gets washed out if it's not the standard, because there's another way around it. Just to round out the major damage repairs, you're gonna put the request in for the 2 hydraulic studies. And then I think once we get the coordinator in hand, we can look at more of these major repairs like the Belmont Road culvert. And if there's a way to get that culvert upgraded, because we gotta put it to current standards, then we go after it, but we'll probably at this point wait till we know.
Okay, so we're set with the infrastructure repairs. Now we'll go on to major repairs. Freeman Brook Road, stacked wall, built in 2 locations. Freeman Brook River realigned. Luscious Acres Road's been rebuilt. Beaver Meadow Brook stacked wall. You said that was complete, Roby, I think.
Yeah.
Bless you. Major repairs remaining. Healdville Road slope failure ongoing. Paving patches. Road surfacing. Continue swale repairs. Reestablish seating and rock linings and etc. Shunpike culvert. Replacement sizing in A&R permit. Belmont Road. Star Lake culvert needs a hydraulic study, which you were doing, Bove. Engineering, Beaver Meadow, large diameter culvert replacement. That one needs hydraulic study as well. Sawyer Hill, large diameter culvert, engineering. Star Lake Dam, repair erosion site, confirmed with state repairs based on their inspection.
I never heard back from them when they did their inspection, so I've been meaning to reach out to them to see.
Okay.
Before we do anything, we make sure that
We
Do
did
the right
receive
thing.
a form, it's not the inspection, we did receive a form that just says if we do need to do repairs, there's like a little state
Okay.
request form, which I have in the office,
Okay.
which just, I guess you file once you know you're doing the repairs.
Okay.
So, but I didn't receive an inspection report either.
yeah, I was gonna email the
Yeah.
A&R Dam Safety.
Then Luscious Acres overflow culvert, we talked about that. Sizing for A&R permit for the overflow. Any questions on all that was covered?
Church Street
Yes.
and Maple Hill,
Mm-hmm.
that culvert is plugged. I'm gonna try to get up there tomorrow with a fire truck, and I gotta pull that top off that at the bottom.
Yep.
To get down in there to try to blow water up through there to clean it. If not, we'll have to probably end up hiring like A1 with their
Jetter.
truck, and
Somebody around with a jetter?
yeah,
A1's your best bet, I think.
Yeah.
if we can't get it to open up. But the next culvert up, somebody had put a metal screen in there. I don't know, must be so the kids' balls didn't go in there or what, but that caused that driveway to
To wash.
wash out. So I'll fix that because it was our culvert that caused the
Okay.
problem. But
Because of the screen.
yeah,
Screen removed.
yes,
Okay.
it's wide open, but now the culvert down below it's plugged.
Alright. Okay.
Take pictures.
Okay, if there's no questions, we're gonna go on to the FEMA Public Assistance Update, which we did kind of talk through it already. That's the next level they're going around, and I think we gave everybody numbers and posted numbers for them to call as well.
Yeah, there's a deadline
Yeah.
for individual assistance. There is a deadline of first week in September, so
Yeah.
I would report it. You know, if the deadline passes, there's really no recourse. So can't guarantee they'll do anything, but if you don't report it, they certainly won't. That's for individual assistance.
Okay, VM hazard mitigation program, flooded property buyout.
So yeah, this was always an item the VEM has with FEMA. There's buyouts available. I think this go around, it's 100%, isn't it? The buyout.
I don't know for certain, but that might be.
So anyways, I just thought it would be, there's a buyout program where if there's a house that's been flooded or is in jeopardy of being flooded, either from the storm or in the future, the state, along with the federal government, has a program to buy these homes. So I know likely nobody would probably take it up on the program, but I was thinking just drafting a letter and sending it out to the homes that potentially are affected and giving them the chance.
I know there was a handful of them in Ludlow that have accepted buyouts.
Yeah, and Brandon's done a lot. Brandon had a road, Newton Road, and the whole road. It's taken them years, but
Yep.
they're finally, I think there's no homes left on the road.
So yes, that would be a good idea to draft.
Unfortunately, some of the ones that are probably like in that Belmont Road section, the alignment of that culvert is going to be impossible because of all the homes, and that's going to be a struggle. But
Right.
I don't know if those people really would want to be part of a buyout, but so I'll draft a letter and
Give them an opportunity.
yeah, give everybody an opportunity. That's it.
Okay, moving on. ARPA storage container for emergency management supplies.
Oh,
We
did
could-
you want to do the lessons learned? Did we skip that?
It's just more of a reminder. I don't know. Just before we get too far away, I think one of the things I learned was, as emergency management director, just probably have some more cots on hand and be better set up for a shelter. So I was gonna kind of working with Russ and John on some ideas for that.
Now those 2 storage containers or units that are up by the dump, are those towns?
One's got, I think, the televisions.
Huh?
The televisions. They have the.
Yeah, that one's the town. But you mean them other ones that Hubbard wants to buy?
No, they were just like sea cargo containers.
Yeah, that one's just for the televisions and stuff, because we gotta keep them dry.
I don't know if that was something that we could use. We can still get one reasonable.
I think, and just other lessons learned is just making sure we take photos throughout the storm and using an app that maybe puts the location on it. Was critical. I don't know. We were all here. Just anything else that we wish next time around we did. Now's the time to probably write it down so we remember.
Well, the biggest problem was trying to get a hold of somebody to get us into the school, because that is an emergency shelter for the town.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we couldn't get a hold of anybody for it.
We called a few people. I could have tried harder, but just the magnitude of having people in a shelter wasn't there, except for the couple people that filtered in here, so I didn't push too hard. Luckily, the fire station opened a shelter. They had a few people there. I think somebody volunteered to make meals that night. I don't know.
Again, for the severity of it, I think it went very well within the town. I think, Jeff, you did an amazing job as the emergency director. I think everybody that participated within the town repairs, I can't thank this community enough for the response that was done. So again, I know we've been thanking everybody, but kudos to every individual that participated in the repair of the town. And I can't thank everybody enough. So with that, we even had old board members call in and give Jeff extreme kudos on his perseverance and response to the disaster that was happened. So again, I can't stress the job well done by Jeff enough. So
Thank you.
Same here.
yes, we're gonna hit that up. lessons learned from the highway, town office, fire, and the emergency management. So if anyone here, the fire chief, wants to stand up and talk.
I didn't
Lessons
really come
learned.
too prepared, but I mean, lessons learned, definitely facility. We did facilitate 4 people. Tiffany and her mom made dinner for them, which is good, but the facility is really it's not handicap accessible. The downstairs we do have a bathroom and we can keep people dry and we can set cots up downstairs, but as far as cooking facilities goes, it's not set up for handicap accessibility. The other thing we did learn too is I do want to reach out and try to, if anybody knows how to do grants or knows where to find them, I would like to try to figure out a way to get some grants to get some water rescue supplies and some different tools and possibly send some guys to some schools, because when towards the end of the storm, it made it really difficult for any kind of water rescue teams to even get to us. So maybe in the future we can be more prepared in town in case something does happen, that we can have our own team here. And also love that we'll be able to utilize this as well. The biggest things learned. I have some members here too, if anybody picked up on some other stuff that maybe I'm missing, then if not, everybody did a good job. We had a pretty decent crew and I thought we did pretty good. I think we run 12 plus calls in a very short amount of time, so that's all I have. So.
Excellent.
No, very good. One other thing I'd like to bring up, I'd like to have us have a list together in the town for emergency usage for situations like this, for anybody that has, contracting abilities and equipment that we can call, at a whim, because, we utilize most everybody within the town.
Yeah, we can, in our emergency management plan, we have a few people listed, but we could definitely work on expanding that list for next year, and maybe before we update that plan next year, just put like a news flash out. Yeah. If you want to put on the list. And
there were a few calls that people did reach out saying they're more than willing to help, if need to be. So.
We need more dump trucks in town.
I agree. That's probably one of the biggest.
Our biggest thing was not having enough material.
we did okay.
I
thought we did okay.
there was a lot of time that.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, okay.
we
managed.
I would have put more trucks on.
we had some leverage where we were able to utilize, some construction equipment from other facilities, which was a huge deal for us.
Yeah, and I think Pulteney calling in the middle of the storm and offering for help. I think we got to remember that when somebody else gets.
That's another huge thing that I forgot to bring up is, for outside towns to reach out and volunteer their trucks to come and help support us. That's huge. And that's kudos to those towns as well. And I'm pretty sure we sent thank you letters out for everybody, if I'm not mistaken.
We'll double check.
So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Okay, we talked about the ARPA. Now, camper ordinance.
So I have called around to Cavendish and Chester, and Faith also shared from the AO listserv, kind of statewide listserv. She shared some sample ordinances from other nearby towns, including Londonderry and others, which are in your packets. You'll see some of them are pretty detailed and intricate, and they tackle the issues in various ways. So I thought it might be good if you guys read through, see which ones kind of represent your vision. And then probably we would need some technical support from either Faith and or the LCT and or the town attorney to kind of shape it, since we don't have anything similar already on the books. Some of the towns that have passed it like, already had some zoning regulations in place, and then like in Chester, we're kind of just adding a clause. But in our case, I'm not sure we have like an existing structure that we could just kind of tack on to. So we would be kind of creating something from scratch.
Correct.
And some, towns handle it in different ways. What a lot of towns do is say, they define what a campground is. And so the first step is sort of saying this number or quantity of campers on a particular property means you're a campground, and then you have to follow campground rules that are, town-based and also potentially state-based. Otherwise they're taxed as permanent dwellings. So given all the directions you could go, I thought maybe you guys, familiarize yourself, and then depending on how you want to deal with it, we could ask VLCT for some support maybe first, but it might be something that a town attorney would have to look into, because we're not just updating an existing ordinance. Yeah.
Correct. I know I leave my camper permanently located, and if it's there for over 180 days, it becomes taxable to Addison County. So I pay property taxes on my camper in Addison.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and some towns have it. It depends on if someone's living in it or not, or if it's just parked. If it's on a private property. So yeah, it's a little.
So yeah, I think
technical.
we need to look through that and have something there. John.
What is it for?
Excessive campers in locations.
RV parks or?
Yeah. Yes.
Just in relation to a point that John made earlier about short-term rentals, I think a similar piece of advice might apply, in that the first thing to do is to determine what issue it is you're trying to address, and single out that, and then you can go forward in terms of determining what action to take. But be very clear about what the problem is, so that it can withstand challenge potentially.
Yeah, I think a lot of it stems from multiple complaints that the board has had along 103 is unauthorized campsites. So.
Is it something you'd like the planning commission to look at?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Use all the resources that we have. Yep.
So we can put it on our agenda for next week.
Yep.
So would you mind sharing that?
Yes, sure. Faith has it already.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
And I can pass on what I heard from the other two towns that aren't on here too. So you'll have everything.
Okay, moving on, fuel bids. So we need to reach out to our typical 3 bidders and for our yearly fuel.
Do you guys want propane bids as well as?
The only problem with the propane, the tanks aren't ours.
Right, they're rented, they're leased.
They're leased through, I mean, they could change out the tanks, I guess, but
We don't use enough fuel to warrant.
we don't.
Very minimal propane.
The propane is,
No, we need to call somebody to show up to
Right.
service it.
We use 550 gallons a year between all entities.
yeah.
It's pretty minor, so I'd
Okay.
say we continue utilizing.
It's really the diesel fuel is
The
what we
propane.
go through the
Okay.
most.
Yeah.
Okay. So just
Diesel, and then we
Yeah.
just tacked on the heating oil because it was
Right.
kind of the same truck.
Yeah.
I guess is what he said.
Okay, so same as last year for the
Yes.
request for
Yep.
proposals. Okay, or bids.
Yep.
And same vendors that will ask to
Yeah.
submit bids.
And we're okay with servicing the oil boiler, right? Did you have that figured out now?
Well, I did
Because that was an
ask-
issue before getting people to show up and it broke down.
Well, that's still an issue. I mean, it depends on who you can find to come in. Quote unquote, it's very good to come in to take care of anything with the propane.
Yeah.
So that was great. But the fuel oil was another story.
Because we keep switching providers for the fuel oil, it creates an issue.
Well, it doesn't help that Champlain doesn't have anybody.
Yes.
Yeah, I get a young kid I use for sugaring. I can
Okay.
see if he would.
Just
be interested.
somebody would
See if
have an
he's
emergency.
interested, and he would typically come. He comes anytime, so.
Do you guys want to open the bids at the next meeting? Just to make it efficient?
Yes.
Like have that be the bid
Same,
open
yeah,
date?
we just
Yes.
do, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, John?
Whatever you're done with that one. I didn't know if you had made a decision on the storage container annex.
Oh yeah, I think we skipped it.
No, we talked about it, but we didn't make a decision on the storage container.
Kind of on the, I wrote that, it's like the need is, when you need it, you need it. When you don't, and then most of the time you don't need it. So I've waffled around. I wrote that request. I mean, we've got some stuff that was given to us by VEM, I think through Ludlow, that's sitting at the fire station. Either, and I don't think trying to pass it out, like we can put a newsflash post. What I've learned from COVID is people they don't come and take stuff, like whether it was masks or food or, so I don't know. That was where the request came from, is like, I would like to stockpile some cots. The fire station has some, but we should have some down this way. So I submitted that request.
What about like a 20-footer?
That's what I priced out a 20-footer, the 3 different vendors, and it was $4,500 from Abernathy was the lowest price delivered. First one tripper, because it has to be relatively watertight. Prices have gone up. You used to get them for $3,000.
I think we paid like $2,300 for them up
Yeah,
there.
You can find them.
Yeah.
yeah, but you don't.
1,500 for mine.
You want one that's weather tight if we're gonna try to store stuff. The door's got to close and all that stuff. You know.
Right, you don't need mice and all.
And I looked at the mezzanine level of the garage, which could be a spot for some stuff. You know, there are options, and even the basement here if we just cleaned it out a little bit, or not. Maybe not the
We're
basement.
not. We're not.
So
Or utility trailer.
yeah, something
that's
dry.
watertight,
Yeah.
dry. Okay, we can still pursue that.
Okay. In the meantime, we'll put a news flash post out for hand sanitizer and wipes, alcohol wipes. Come take them, even if you don't need them.
Water takes up most of it.
In the water, yeah,
I mean, if you're stockpiling cones, water, cots,
yeah,
Yeah, some of that water is 10-year water, right?
yeah.
Russ was good enough to get it. But,
Yeah,
it's the kind of stuff that you can't wait for FEMA after a disaster to come by. You have to have it the day of, so.
Yeah.
Could have used some hand sanitizer 3 years ago.
I think we still got some in the bathroom.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to reappraisal notification.
You received one?
Yeah, we received the
Yeah.
official notice, and there's a letter for you to sign saying that you received it, and how would you like to proceed to comply with it?
So I have that for you after.
I don't want
Yeah.
it. All right, we'll move on to the highway department hiring.
That was a big discussion.
That was a big one. So we know what we gotta do anyways.
So we need, who's going to take care of that?
Weren't we talking with, was it Rimerick
Yeah,
Nimrick?
Nimrick,
doing
so you.
the reappraisal? So,
So just get a proposal from them to do
yes,
it?
yes. That's how I thought we were going that road anyways, because of the discussion we had Chris, is it Chris that was up here giving the
Yeah,
pitch
yeah.
and so forth, so I would continue with that method and get a proposal from them. If the board so chooses, we can make a motion to do that. So I'll make a motion that we continue using Nimerick and get a proposal from them for the updated reappraisal order.
I'll second that.
The ayes?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the highway department hiring, I know we interviewed, 3 individuals, for the position. I don't know, Jeff, if you wanna make the offer?
Yep, we interviewed 3 people back last month, and we were gonna select one of the individuals, and I think given his experience level and we can add in if you want anything, but I think he's a fit for the crew.
Right.
I
Given
believe so.
the crew that we have and
And just
the
watching the
culture that we want to develop.
performance during the emergency disaster
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, operating equipment and being there when you needed them. So we're gonna make a hiring of Chad, who's who's down in the back there. So
So
he accepts.
he accepts. We'd like to offer. Any questions?
You're gonna
None?
pick up your patient?
All right then. So we'll move on to
Sure you couldn't pick it up for
transfer station fees. I know we've been at the same dollar value for the stickers since I don't know when. Yes, Dave?
Since 2004.
Since 2004. And as we all know, nothing has gone down in price since then.
So I made the handy dandy. I had this table made in 2020, January 21, because we had the same kind of conversation. Only one person or one town has raised their rates since then, and that was Andover, who uses trash disposal in Chester. And they went to a per pound fee, which seems rather complicated. Everybody else has held their pricing for the past couple of years.
And what's
Right.
most of their pricing?
We're at $2. Shrewsbury's at $2. Clarendon's at $2. Ludlow's at $1 because they do kind of like a punch card system. You have to buy a whole punch card and then they just punch it as you go. Hubbard's is $3. Rutland County Solid Waste, who we're a member of, is $3. This is for a 30-pound or 30-gallon trash bag. Rutland Town is $3. Wallingford is $4, and Weston is $4. So there are some people in the same boat as us who've just held the price for a long time, and then others, are charging $3 to $4. So,
John, we've held the price for a long time. I think it's time we
yeah,
have some level of increase because of the costs
we
of everything.
basically operate that at a cost to the town. So
Yep,
it is a service to the town, but
it is.
with the increasing inflation,
Correct.
we're trying to keep the tax rate low. The math isn't there, so I think we've got to start doing stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
Should we do it? Should we put a bid out for it?
For trash removal?
Yeah.
We can.
I know we've always used Casellas, but
Mm-hmm. We can
That
put,
is a separate task.
that would be a separate side task, but
August 31st.
yeah,
Got
yeah.
a 5th RFP.
I mean,
It's a good idea.
It doesn't hurt,
I know,
but
the last few times, I literally had to beg for them to come because they're so
district.
stretched out and
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to
I think
explore that avenue.
Do we want to just select 3 people and request quotes? Because our policy allows for us to just go to three individuals, and
Mhm.
Hubbard being one, Casella and I don't know if really there's a second hauler or a third
Who's the
hauler.
third hauler? I don't know anybody.
I don't know.
If we can find one.
Yeah,
Can look.
yeah, just reach
Right.
out.
We can
Is
reach
Rich
out.
Hero up here, or are they too far south?
Yeah, it'd have to probably be somebody that direction.
Over,
Yeah,
Maybe,
maybe
maybe,
Weston, I don't know.
maybe we can reach out
I
somebody
can
down south.
I can dig up an RFP and then send it to you. And maybe you can modify it.
Yep, sure.
I mean, right now our costs, we budgeted for $139,600 for solid waste and for expense and the income is $28,000. At the current fee. So,
There's a huge
Yeah.
Yeah, and if we did a $3, if we went to
I think three.
went to $3, then we'd close that gap. We'd have it pretty. We'd make a difference.
Yeah. Is there a motion?
The only thing is the math. The $3 is not evenly divisible. We'll survive. Okay.
We should be able to survive. I'll make a motion to increase the dump stickers from 2 to 3, based on the big gap between the income from the sticker sales to the actual cost of $139,000 for trash removal. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
The ayes.
Starting when? Because we're gonna have to get envelopes to,
Yes.
What do we have for stickers currently?
we just got a bunch not too long ago, so we got quite a few stickers.
Oh, well, the stickers are not a deal.
But I'm talking about the envelopes. We got like 2 full boxes of envelopes and I've been crossing off and changing the postage to the right amount. And we'll have to get new
Can we just make a
envelopes.
sticker? Is there a lot of envelopes left?
Oh, there's a lot of them.
Could we just make like a label and just plonk it over where it says the cost?
I can try.
Yeah.
We can see if we can come up with a.
Or we just get some.
Right.
Yeah.
See what
What's-
more cost effective.
But what's the start date?
Let me
Do you
look at
wanna
my
do it when
calendar.
the hours change, so it's like people are not taking in multiple changes at once? I don't know if that makes a difference or not, since people forget the changing of hours too.
Well, I'm just wondering for a start date. Do we want to start it as of
Rational.
September 1st?
I would say September 1st.
And that way it gives enough notice.
Yep, that gives enough notice.
Yeah,
We'll do a
I'll file with stickers now.
We'll do a September 1st start date. Run. So,
That's gonna be run on stickers.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just file with
they'll buy all the stickers out and then it's easy.
I'll do it.
But you'll have to rip her sticker in half to.
Well, the stickers are not an issue. There is no dollar denomination on
I
the
know,
stickers,
I
so
know.
there's no issue with those.
That's right.
Not yet.
So, not yet. Not yet. So, we've held out for a long time on that price and we try to balance the budget as low as we can, but it is at an expense to the town.
And it is a rate that is matching some of the
Yes.
neighboring towns. I just think some people are still far behind.
Okay, so September 1st is the cut date. Okay, municipal planning grants, potential application ideas. Deadline is November 1st at 6 p.m.
So I think, to John's point, if we were considering doing anything with a
Short-term rental.
short-term rental, this would probably be a good thing to pursue so that we have a good basis for what, we're not trying to draft something that has no basis for an ordinance.
So for a housing study?
We have to check with Jenny to make sure it meets the criteria of the grant. I think that was still kind of up in the air, right?
Not really,
No.
Ludlow did one last fiscal year, the same exact thing, for the same purpose, because I understand it, and a number of the towns around us have already done that.
And I think they're doing it to limit the Airbnbs.
Yeah, ultimately, but they're backing it up with the housing needs assessment, basically, which will, motivate the short-term rental ordinance. Because that way you're not just coming up with it to sort of penalize people with, it's there's various housing.
Depends on how you look at it, I guess.
Right.
Because if you're a person that's doing Airbnbs and you make an ordinance against it, you are penalizing the homeowner that does the Airbnb.
Exactly, and so that's why the housing study comes into play. The VLCT very strongly recommends that you have it, because that homeowner will sue the town, for sure. And you need to have a study, you should have a study that will hold up in court. And that's what Woodstock recommended over, and a couple other towns that were part of it.
I just have a hard hill telling somebody what they're gonna do with their house.
I agree.
So
It's hard.
it's a hard pill for me to swallow.
So independent of the short-term rental stuff, a housing study could help us understand, we have a lot of anecdotes about people not being able to find rentals and the cost of housing going up.
But then you got the flip side of it, when you do have a rental, then you got a nasty tenant that leaves the place in a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that certainly comes up pretty often.
And that's why I would tempt anybody to go to Airbnb, because
Oh, yeah.
it's paid up front.
Oh, there's lots of reasons.
Yeah.
To do Airbnb as an owner. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's one option.
So there's the deadline approaching. And we talk just
No, we can reach out and do.
better to get ahead of it. than-
Better to do the study
Whether it's
now,
this or some
whether
other-
it's-
some
whether
other
it's
item.
there or not. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. No.
Otherwise, we're footing stuff on our own dime, and I know that we don't want to do that. It just won't get done at that point.
So is there a motion?
I think would you suggest you can do further. I don't think we need to make a motion today for that to apply. I mean, we can, but is there any legwork we should be doing? The planning commission do?
Yeah, so
Look at
typically there's this form that
Resolution.
CD has, and it's the first step one, resolution by the planning commission suggesting or supporting the idea. And then it goes to usually to the select board to authorize applying for
For the grant.
and then somebody has to write the grant.
So
Okay.
So that'll be.
So let's-
step one. Step one.
Right, so step one will be the planning commission saying, hey, that sounds good. That's basically all.
Alright, so I guess we'd say do step one first.
And we can contemplate in the meantime.
Bring it back to next month.
Yeah.
Okay, emergency personnel and compensation rates.
So this one came up with FEMA and the public assistance. Public assistance, by the way, is actually like municipal assistance helping the town and towns. And for various, we had people who helped in emergency scenarios that were already had been hired as temporary people through the town, but there are a number of people who were not, or who were certainly acting well outside of the scope of their normal time and hours. And it was highly suggested that they be hired as emergency staff in order to compensate them, and then also to be reimbursed for their compensation. There is also the opportunity for individuals who worked and do not wish to be compensated to document and volunteer their time, and FEMA will also reimburse that time at a reasonable rate. But I would like to suggest, I have a number of people who helped. I don't know if they all want to be included or how to proceed with that, but I would like our emergency management director to be compensated as one of them. I'm also including myself in that. There's gonna be a lot of administrative costs down the line, which they actually said 100% of those get reimbursed by FEMA, so that's nice. No cost to the town in the end. But that needs to be made official to proceed with any.
So we need to make a motion for emergency personnel and compensation rates. And again, as like I said, mine is donated back to the town for anything that I would have done. So I'm okay with that. Is there a motion?
You're gonna,
What were you?
Well, we need to know a rate, don't we?
yeah, I don't think we'd necessarily make that.
It depends. if it's someone who was previously employed, it says they
Their
should
normal
be
rate.
paid generally at their normal rate.
Right.
For someone who's not, like the emergency management director, it would be the Department of Labor, has a
Rates.
rate, yeah, that they suggest,
I would,
an hourly rate.
I would
And I would like to
utilize-
use that would
utilize
be a
that.
guideline.
yeah, use that as a guideline. So is there a motion?
I don't know if that needs a motion, does it, or is it just that we?
I think it does, cause we're
Mm-hmm.
agreeing to hire people, really.
At a temporary,
Yeah, and I think we don't usually talk out.
we don't talk about
Yeah, we do that in executive, but probably just a
Yes.
motion to hire. I'm already
Right.
management director, you're already the treasurer, and
Mm-hmm.
you're offered to do all the documentation, so I think we just ask David what would be the right thing to do. You're the kind of the expert on
Well,
protocol.
in Irene, we did not put in for any administrative costs. Rhonda and I absorbed it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever extra.
And I've got limited hours, but I'm not gonna say no to a reimbursement because I am stretched pretty well thin,
Mhm.
so I'm not gonna do what we did in Irene, and I think we need to take advantage of FEMA in
Yes.
terms of getting the most out of the reimbursements.
Yes.
So I was like writing these RFPs,
Yes.
like
Right.
it takes time, and I could be doing other things, so I'm not doing
Exactly.
Irene, so. Or I just won't do it, which I think is a disservice to, I get pissed at myself driving up my road and going, that edge needs to be removed, because it's gonna wash out again. No offense to you,
No,
you're spread so thin, you can't take care of every little berm, but, so.
So I'll make a motion for compensation of emergency personnel, utilizing the guideline rates that we can look at and make that compensation decision. Is there a second?
All right, we'll second that.
The ayes.
Aye.
Aye.
I recuse myself, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's fine. And along with that, like I said, it's an option of the individuals that donated their time for compensation. They have the opportunity to volunteer it back to the town, which I said I would do anyways from day one. Yes, Steve?
Might I suggest I'm not sure it would cover it, but a number of people donated their equipment.
Mhm.
So I'm sure somewhere in there,
Document.
Right.
If anyone can give me information, then we can go from there and see
Yep.
whether it qualifies.
Send in a bill with the number of hours that your equipment was utilized for the.
For anything. Yeah.
Within reason, I mean, if
Yeah.
you just went and cleaned your culvert on the end of your driveway, it doesn't meet the $3,800 requirement.
That's correct.
Yeah, well, but if you were,
That's correct.
you jumped out there and jumped in, I'd love to, if it could, and you did mean to volunteer, it could also help the town.
And for the record, the goal isn't to cost the town money, but if there is
No.
reimbursement to be had from FEMA and
Correct.
a way for the town to get reimbursement, and if we don't do the necessary paperwork or do it, then that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about costing the town or raising taxes by,
No,
No, but you won't be compensated
it's
either.
reimbursement purposes.
yeah. But if it doesn't qualify, we're not
Right.
gonna bill.
Correct.
I think I just need a little bit more clear language for the minutes. A motion for the town to compensate emergency personnel using FEMA guidelines.
Department of Labor,
Department of
US
Labor.
Department of Labor average.
Average.
rates.
Average
rates.
Okay,
For purposes of FEMA.
reimbursement.
Okay, moving on to the Veterans Monument Maintenance. Dennis.
So in about 1960, the lower level of the library outside the door of the community room now is a veterans monument that was put in and it's been exposed to the weather. And a lot of the top layer of rocks have been loose for a while. The constant freezing and thawing in the winter has taken its toll. So I approached a guy in town that lives in town that I thought he would donate his time. He gave me an estimate of $5,500 to replace the whole thing and like $1,500 and $1,600 to do the repair. You know, I'm sure if we get something done, I'd like to, you know, maybe you guys would like some more quotes. I was hoping somebody would donate and fix it. And I'd like to be able to maybe cover it up in the winter to keep the moisture in the constant weather, you know, the dampness from the freezing and thawing. So, I mean, I'll continue if you want to get some quotes, or you can put out something in the chit chat, you know, for some bids or something. I was surprised. I thought somebody would maybe, and they still might, somebody might step up and do it for nothing. I'd like to see it get fixed, that's all.
So we'll put it in the chit chat.
We can put it in a chit
Yeah,
chat, yeah.
it would be nice to keep that
Yeah, yeah.
maintained.
Maybe have a covering made for it, to protect it for the
Right.
winter.
Custom.
Okay, that'll go out in the chit chat, Dennis. Okay, moving junk ordinance complaint.
This is just a holdover from last month's agenda. This is a complaint regarding the Cesco property.
Yes.
I don't think Mark is here.
I don't
He
think
did
he
come last
is.
time, but-
He did come last time.
We tabled it, so.
I think it would fall under any junk ordinance complaint. There is a lot of stuff up there that you can see. I would say we send the individual a letter
Okay.
for step one.
Would this complicate the pending tax sale?
I don't know why it would complicate it, because it's two individual situations.
Send a letter to the current property owner.
So we can reach out to the attorney to make sure first, but I
Okay.
would say we can reach out to the attorney, then we can send a letter if the attorney says move through with it.
Okay.
Anything else on junk ordinance for complaints?
Mhm.
That's been quiet. Okay, traffic ordinance complaint.
This is really a speed complaint. This is also from last month on Roger Hill Road. There's a kind of ongoing issue with one of the residents of the road speeding. Another resident has talked directly to the neighbor, but that hasn't resolved the issue. I did CC Jeff when the complaint first came in and said, you know, does the select board want to refer, you know,
Yeah, and
to
I
the sheriff?
Did
But
not refer to the sheriff because it was like right when Irene or
It was just
storm,
right before.
yeah.
It
And then I
probably
went.
slowed
I
people
happened
down.
to. I happened to go out there and look at that road because it was damaged. It's on a hill. We can ask the sheriff. Like we can ask the sheriff to go up there, but the speed limit on any gravel road not posted is 50.
Yeah.
So we're kind of stuck in between a rock and a hard place on that in terms of any enforcement. They're not going to be able to do anything.
It's not a posted road, correct?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
doing a traffic, I don't,
I think the
Yeah.
residents.
we start going into those type of roads where it's Pandora's box across the town on speed limits, and going back to discussions we had 2 years ago about you can't just blanket
Right,
set speed limits in the town.
right.
Would you like me to just reach back out to the resident
Yes.
just to kind of
Yep.
reiterate
Just-
that? And, okay.
Reiterate, I'll send the email to the sheriff and just ask them to
Okay.
swing over, acknowledging that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that
okay.
may be enough just to cite. Okay, moving, covert complaint.
This is also a holdover from last month. This is on Chalet Drive.
Yes.
Rosie and Bob have already spoken with the property owner. Melissa Harris.
Oh, no, that was Bob and Les.
Oh, okay.
They, when we ditched it, or before we ditched it, it was running down and then it would go in through her trees into her yard. They put a swale closer to the road, stone lined it, cleaned the ditch, stone lined the bank so that there was no eroding going into the culvert. I don't know, I mean, that culvert was there when she
It's not in
bought the
town right
place.
away.
It's not in, all them culverts in that whole area were put in by the builders when they built
Mhm.
all that development. So it's really not a town issue. I mean, that's
Yeah.
where the water went and
And we
that's
have
where the culvert went.
communicated because
Mm-hmm.
we talked about it a while back, and I did communicate that to her. She's still not satisfied, so I don't know what you guys want to do. I can reiterate it in another email just to say it was discussed.
I did go look at it myself where it
Okay.
is. The only other option we would have is to extend her culvert to the edge of the town right away on the bank. That's the only option. And the other side of it, it is not a town culvert. It is a personal culvert within their driveway, which was put there to accommodate the water runoff that was generated on a hillside.
Yeah. I'll just reiterate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot better. I mean, even with all the heavy rain, it didn't go into her backyard. It stayed
To the
close to
culvert.
the road and went into the culvert. So I don't
Yes.
know.
Okay, we're gonna move on to ongoing and old business. ACO search update.
No update. We have not received any letters of interest so far. Laura has continued to be willing to do the field work piece of it until a replacement is found.
Okay.
We have only advertised it on, normal postings and in the chit chat. I don't know if you want to try to go beyond that in any way. I don't know, Jeff, if it's gone out on Facebook.
I can share.
Maybe we could do that.
You can share it.
And I could share it again on the news flash.
Yep. I think we can try that.
Okay.
And dog license registration update.
Okay. Christine took over doing the calls as of June 19th. We had 105 that were not registered. Chris has got them down to 10 and 2 that have promised to pay. And we've got 4 where the dogs have passed away, but they've got young puppies. So Christine did very well on collecting money.
Wow,
Yay,
Chris. Good job.
Good job.
All those phone calls.
Okay, that's the updates for the registrations. And final approval of amendment country lock alarm quote.
So that's just for you guys to sign this, basically. It's, you guys already approved
We
the
approved it.
amended, but it's just to formalize it.
Okay. Okay, moving on. Citizens' concerns, comments? Yes.
Well, I know that you came by my property and took a look at what was going on with the drain line,
Lester?
Lester,
Yeah.
right? And from what I understand, you spoke to my wife also.
I did. I talked to Clinton today to schedule an appointment to come out and take a look at it.
All right, well, one of the things that I noticed, being a homeowner, is that the wash from the road is filled in where the rocks were put. And they filled it in right to the top. And in the last rainstorm, I had 6 inches of water in my garage. Before that, I never had more than an inch. So it's creeping, going in more as it's filling. Now, I have an idea, I don't know if it would work. I was told that when the town dug that trench, that they could not put in a culvert, an 18 or 16 inch. My idea is put in 2/8. This way it wouldn't interfere with the electric wire. But that still wouldn't take into account all the water that's coming down from Teeter's Hill, 600-700 feet, straight run. Right through a culvert he put in without permission, since it's quote unquote a town right of way. Okay, it's designated as a town right of way to go up there and make a turn. I don't know what to do.
Is that, help me out, Clinton, because I'm not familiar with the road. Is that a class 4 road beyond a certain point?
No, it's just driveway.
Okay, so it's
Beyond the
personal.
town, beyond the town's, where the town road ends,
Yep,
it's just personal driveway.
Yep.
There was never really a good area to put a turnaround, I guess, and that's why they have always gone up to Jeff's yard and turned around.
And I know that they plow it, not all the time, but most of the time they're plowing it or they're grading it. And the problem is the grade is all going into my property. It's not only from his platform, and it's from the road, and it's from his father-in-law's driveway. And he just cleared it out more so, and I got flooded. And I just spent a whole bunch of money having the man put in the trench so the water wouldn't go into my house. I got $40,000 worth of damage from the storm. I'm not blaming the town per se, but I'd like some help if I can get it.
we'll have to go out and take a look at it. Like I said to your wife, you know, Clinton is just back from vacation.
I understand that, and I'm not blaming Clinton at all, but I'd like to be there so I could walk you guys through it. That's all I ask is a couple hours notice.
So, tomorrow?
Yeah, whatever.
So, tomorrow, say around 3:30, we'll come up.
I'll try, yes.
So, we'll be there tomorrow at 3:30 to
You
just
got
take
it.
a look.
I'll make sure that wherever I am, I will start back where at 2:30 to get here.
Okay.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And, you know, if it's personal property, you know, the town can't do anything on
I
personal
understand
property.
that, but from what I can see, is when you guys put the rocks in, that's what blocked the flow of the water.
What rocks are you?
When the town came in and dug the ditch, they put rocks in there, big rocks, with a machine.
Is it based on the state slopes for ditching? I don't know.
Oh, it goes right down past my driveway and then it leaches out into
Yeah,
a field.
because you didn't want a culvert in front of your garage, so we put 10-inch stone in there so you could drive into your garage. I do remember that.
Right, but the thing is, the culvert that they wanted to put in was standard, which is I think 15 or 16 inches, and that would have interfered with the electric wire.
Yeah, it's
Right.
18 inch by code.
Okay, well, my idea is 2/8.
It's not the same
It's-
cross-sectional
no,
area.
it's not.
If you do
I'll pay for the pipe, I don't care about that.
No, I mean, it's,
So,
Look at it tomorrow.
we'll
Okay.
look at it and we'll discuss it tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay, that sounds good.
So, any other citizens?
Will you just spell your name for me for the minute?
Lester
Mm-hmm.
Lampert, Lampert.
Great, thank you.
Any other concerns?
No concerns, I just kind of got put on the spot there, so I made a silly comment instead. I just wanted to say, you know, thanks for the hire and, you know, I appreciate that. And I'm looking forward to serving the community and having been part of this community for a long time, grew up next door in Ludlow. It's good to be accepted and I appreciate that and appreciate being involved with the things that I'm, you know, welcomed into. And just looking forward to serving the community, so thanks again.
Good luck taking care of bowling.
Good thing you had to go to breakfast.
Okay, we're gonna move on to announcements. I have no announcements.
Well, there is one, we're planning a party, a retirement party for Les Fiat. The date we've set aside thus far is Saturday, September 9th at 2 p.m. here at the town office. We will be sending out an invitation.
And the town office will be closed Wednesday, August 16th.
Oh my God.
We have that meeting on we have a municipal planning grant meeting just for the notes on the 16th at 5 at the community center, just to go over the plan that was created, the village plan. So public meeting, anybody can come draft, and then we'll present it to the board
At the community center.
at the community center, 5 p.m.
Any more announcements? Okay, review and sign the orders. Executive session Title I VSA S 313A3, personnel if needed. I don't.
Good on.
I'm not thinking that if anything.
I think we're gonna use the Board of Labor guideline for that
Yeah,
one.
and then
So-
just the current hire.
Yes. Yep. Yep. So,
Oh, yes, there is one.
okay, so we'll be moving into executive session. I need a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we move an executive session, Title I VSA at 313A3 for personnel.
I'll second it. The ayes? Aye.
Aye.